Hi, I'm gonna do my video, my blog on the mass you live in. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I watch with the hour video, and I'm gonna respond to these questions. So for question number one, how were you taught about sexuality, gender as a child, and what was your first intimate experience informed by societal stereotypes in any way. So how I talk about sexuality and gender as a child, I was taught by my father. He taught me about how to be a man. Certain ways he taught me how to do that. Just pretty much being strong, being making sure that you're going to school, make sure you take care of your responsibilities. But one of the most things that he taught me, my dad is from West Africa, Liberia, and so know about emotions. Really, just to keep emotions within yourself. I was never really taught to cry or to have showcase emotions. I was really taught to keep that within myself. Really to be a man's man. Even at the age of 5, I started playing sports out in my neighborhood, and I remember just like being that kid who I was always the smallest. I was never the biggest. I wasn't the tallest. And so, if anybody pushed me or hurt me or whatever, I got cut and bruised, my dad would never really like cater to that. And the neighborhood never really catered to that. I was from a neighborhood where very low income, so a lot of diversity, but same time it's rough. So kids play rough, and they don't accept people crying or being like scared. And so for me, I grew up with that mentality. I grew up with that mentality is always being tough, always being hard nosed, always being the first one to kind of like, you know, to push and shove, and I still do that to this day. I still play basketball and play sports. And I'm always the first one to show a little aggression because that's what I was born with. I was raised, taught that way. So so I was really taught, that a man is just supposed to be, supposed to be really tough, take care of his family as well. My father, even though he never showed me emotions, but he also showed me how to really take care of your family. Take care of your responsibilities. Make sure you're always working. Make sure you always have things. Make sure you have like. My dad was really big on names, like having make sure that you have your car in your name, your house on your name, in your name, making sure that you have those things because you're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to take care of yourself. So that was it for that. And then where your first intimate experience informed by society stereotypes in any way? My first intimate experience came from being bullied in the same neighborhood, right? So I remember this kid who lived maybe 2 doors down or a couple block, about maybe a block away around from my corner from my house. And I remember him. I don't know what happened with the interaction with me and him. I was maybe about maybe 5 or 6, and he was maybe third grade, fourth grade. But I remember him telling me that I lost his earring, right? And I like back then, the kids were wearing little diamond earrings or whatever, and somehow I lost his earring. I don't know how I lost his earring, but I remember him grabbing me and like pounding me on the cement, like just really grabbing me and just being really forceful, right? And he's telling me that I have to find his earring. Right, and I remember later on that night, I went through my mom's jewelry box, trying to find an earring for him. To try to find something, um, to give to him. Right. Needless to say, I never found anything, but he also went to the same school with me, and so whenever I walked around the school, I would see him, and whenever I saw him, I would hide. I would hide behind the door, hide behind like a whatever, and that was my way. And so um, that experience taught me, that I have to be oh well, then something else happened after that. So what happened after that also is that I remember I remember him bullying me again. Right, this time he decided to bully me in my I was in my garage. He was out on the street corner, and he was taunting me. He was on a bike. He was taunting me, talking mess or whatever. And my dad happened to hear it. Right, my dad was, I guess he didn't know my dad was in the house. My dad grabbed a big lumberjack, right? And he chased this kid. I know right now that probably be a bad thing, but back then it was like whatever. My dad chased this kid with a lumberjack, No, third year, like third grade kid, maybe third, fourth grade or whatever, riding a bike. He chased them around the neighborhood, right? And I'm just looking at my dad chasing them, right? He running around with the lumberjack, right? I don't know. So they go around the corner. My dad disappeared. He disappears. All I know is my dad came back and the stick was broken. I never asked my dad what happened. I never asked him. All I know, ever since then, that kid never bothered me ever. Never even said anything to me. Every time he saw me, he like passed by me. And so, um, so that taught me to that I have to defend myself. That's the only way that people are gonna respect me, or any guys are gonna respect me. But no, not knowing this kid was probably going through a lot of issues, probably a lot of problems at home. Maybe that's why he was bullying me. But that incident taught me that I have to be that tough kid. I have to be that, that rock. I can't let people bully me. And ever since then, nobody has ever bullied me. I continuously, I didn't get in a lot of fights, but I got in fights when I felt like people were trying to pick on me, and so that would happen a lot, and so I remember getting suspended maybe like fourth grade for fighting, and sixth grade I got suspended for fighting one of my best friends, and I got in a fight in middle school and high school, but I still was good in school, so it wasn't like a big thing, right? So I was really taught, really to defend myself, and so that's what I felt. Those was my experiences, right? Those are the things that made me feel like that's what society was about, as a man, to defend yourself. So, question number two: was there any one aspect of or moment in the mass you live in that resounded the most within you? Yes, I think what really resounded with me was playing on a sports team. So, like I said, I play a lot of sports. I play basketball, baseball, football, and on every sport team, I remember my coaches really being really tough on me, being really forceful with me, telling me that I always have to man up, I always have to be the strongest. I remember specifically playing on a baseball team, and I remember not getting playing time. I remember not getting playing time because I wasn't aggressive, right? I wasn't as aggressive as getting the ball, aggressive at going like, being that athlete. All the other kids on my team was really aggressive. They was really like, go get it. What I'm saying? They're gonna die for the ball. They're gonna reach for it. They're gonna put their body on the line for it, and I wasn't, and so you didn't play. If you was not aggressive, you're not gonna get in the game. That's what my coach told me. Now I remember playing for the major league, not major league, minor league team. I believe it was the Tigers, Detroit Tigers. It was the Tigers. Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna, but Yates, you're not gonna play. You're not gonna play because you didn't die for that ball, from the other game, and you made us lose. And that was the big thing, right? I made them lose." And I was like, dang, what I'm saying? Like, why didn't I reach for that ball? Why didn't I go after it? And wow, no, in my head, I didn't reach for the ball because I was scared I was going to get hit. And he knows that. He knew that as a coach that I was afraid to get hit, but he wanted me to put my body out there in the line. And so, needless to say, I started having to play aggressive. So I learned in sports that was the thing. Again, you have to be really aggressive, especially playing football. They won't let you in the game unless you're being tough and being, you're not hitting somebody, right? I started playing football when I was like, in 10th grade. So luckily I was naturally an athlete, so I could play the sport. But you were not going to be playing the game or playing any position if you didn't know how to hit. And our Coach Latino, was strict about that. He was big on hitting. What I'm saying? Like hitting somebody. You have to be the strongest out there hitting. If you didn't hit, he would be like, "You didn't hit. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. You got to do this. You got to do that. Yates, you got to do that. Was it Fabian? Fabian, you got to do this." I remember my buddy Fabian. Fabian, you got to do that. You guys, we're a defense team. We're gonna have to win. And so it was really big. So seeing that in this video and in this movie was really like that resounded with me a lot. Were there any statements or facts that were shocking? There was no facts that were really shocking to me. I think the only thing that really shocked me in the movie was what I didn't think about was how media and the movies played a key role um, uh, in what and who we are as who we define ourselves as, right? So, because I did watch a lot of movies growing up, and I watched a lot of movies with male leads were always like the dominant role. You know, like my favorite actor was Will Smith, right? So I remember Will Smith in Independence Day. He was really like dominant figure, right? He was, he was smooth, he was cool, he had all the girls, all the ladies, and but he was an action guy. He was, he was smooth. He didn't show any emotion. He never cried. He was just like this. But no, he always had a cool line. I don't know. You guys watched Men in Black, but it was the scene in Men in Black. They got into like the alien spaceship and went off. He was like, I got to get me one of these, right? And he said that. I don't know if you got, and then when he said that, I started saying that everywhere I went. You know what I'm saying? I got in the car, I'd be like, got to get me one of these. Or I'll wear a pair of tennis shoes. I'm like, I got to get me one of these. So Will Smith still is one of my favorite actors out there. And especially he played a lot of roles like in Bad Boys 1, 2, and then there's a third one coming out if you guys don't know. So a little plug for Will, but yeah, so he's always that cool guy. So really seeing that part in the movie really played the key. Found that I didn't think not found shocking, but I didn't think about that. How, if all, have you actively challenged societal concept of masculinity or femininity, or do you feel like you have taken more a passive approach and absorbed gender? I absorbed gender norms. I have just, like I said, I just took it, because I didn't know any better. But we have to say this, that I did always feel like I wasn't being myself. I always felt that. I always felt that. I still, to this day, I still fight that, because, when I got to college, I felt like I didn't want to play sports anymore. I didn't play collegiate basketball, collegiate football, or anything because I was tired. I was literally just tired of playing sports. I was tired of just being a role, like playing that, man, like being a tough guy all the time. Like I just got tired. I was like, no way, I don't want to do it no more. And so and when I did that, I wanted to kind of find myself almost. So in the process, I was finding myself, and I was dressing a certain way. I mean, I started dressing. I didn't wear baggy jeans anymore. I didn't wear a lot of hats or a lot of Jordans like I did in high school. I started, trying different things. I was trying out, tighter jeans, and I was trying out different fashion, different clothes. And I remember me doing that, and people were saying that, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Kife is weird. You're weird. But why are you acting like this? Or you're not normal. I remember this girl I was talking to, um, and I actually still talk to her because she's my son's mother now. But I remember meeting her, and she's saying to me, "I thought you was gay." I was like, "Why you thought I was gay? The way you dress." And, this is when I was 21, 22. This is when I was in my experimental goal. And I thought you was gay. That's why I never really want to talk to you. And I was like, wow, when somebody said that to you, you think like, damn, like, what am I, like, what do you mean? Like, you don't act the same. You don't act like everybody else. Why are you so nice? Why are you doing this? So I remember that. I still think about that a lot. Okay, then what else? The mass you live in is the U.S. centric film devolving into the concept of masculinity from North America. Do you have any experience of gender roles in other countries? No, I have no other experience in gender roles in other countries. Oh well, I guess my parents are from West Africa, Liberia, so their gender roles in Liberia are pretty much the same as America. Like you have to be a tough guy. You gotta keep it feeling to yourself, and you can't really be away from that. Well, then also um, how you treat women, right? So in the African culture, you can have multiple women, right? You can have. So my dad was really like my dad was never like a good role model in a relationship because he was always he was cheating on my mom all the time. But they feel like that you can have multiple women, and so that's one thing that I've experienced with my father. And I'm not trying to be like that. I don't do that just because my father does, but that's something that he has in his mindset. Are there any stereotypes or concepts that can be applied to the global community? I'm not too sure. Any specific examples of how the U.S. differs from other societies when it comes to masculinity and how males are treated? Um, no, like I said, just other than Liberia, I feel like other African cultures, like they feel like masculinity is um, really like a top hierarchy. I don't know any other race or country that might feel different. Now, imagine that you are part of a task force within your workplace to advise and guide efforts to address gender identity and gender fluidity as part of your larger equity agenda. What issue or topic will you bring to the table, given the unique social content within your institution, college, or so? This is really actually something I do all the time, anyways. Right, I work as the outreach coordinator for the Martin Luther King Center, and we come up with topics that talk about, gender identity and gender fluidity. Who are we as a gender, as males? And I actually had a workshop, maybe like last Valentine's Day about what women want and what men want, and we had a conversation about interpersonal relationships. How are you supposed to act? How are you supposed to treat women? How women are supposed to treat men? And we had a whole like conversation with the students on campus, and it was really good. Seeing everybody's point of view about dating and relationships, and how you should treat a woman. When should you have sex? When shouldn't you have sex? How do women feel about a guy who's celibate, right? So I'm really being really open right now, and so for the past 3 or 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I really put myself out there in my religious, in my faith, and through my faith, it's about celibacy. Really about self discipline of your, making sure you're not having sex with multiple women, and saving yourself for marriage. And we had that conversation, and I told him about, how do women feel about a man who is celibate? Now, it's funniest thing that you would think you'll find women who are okay with that, but I think in society, women are used to having a guy who knows a little bit about sex, and I think that celibacy, might be another topic to talk about. That a lot of women don't want to date a guy who's celibate, and the reason behind that because they already have sex already, and so they're not really trying to wait either. They might think it's cute or nice or whatever, but they don't really want to date a man. Like you find very rarely that women are attracted or will really want to date a man who never had sex before. You know, Women want guys who have that experience, and so that's probably like another conversation we could have about what are some things that what kind of identity do we put on women about how they should be as women, because even when men are trying to be these good guys or whatever, some girls don't want that. They like the tough guys. They like the guys who have multiple women. It's not by accident that they continue to have the same guys over and over and over. It's because they're attracted to that, or they didn't have a male figure in their household, so now they're trying to find these guys, and these guys are not good. And so I experienced it firsthand. When I was, I think I'm a really nice guy. So I have a hard time sometimes really trying to find a good girl who want to be around me, even though I'm not like, the typical African American male, right? I'm not that typical in the streets selling weed, doing this. I go to school, I work full time, I take care of my son, I have a good job, and I do what I need to do. I stay out of I don't have any criminal records, so it's like, okay, do I really want to be with this guy? And so I had a hard time really trying to date around that, because some girls don't want to be around that. Um, so again, go back to what I was talking about. I did have a topic was about what women want. It was about interpersonal relationship, and it went really well. And people really, and I'm actually thinking about doing it again this Valentine's Day, a part two of bringing that conversation back to the table and seeing how we can identify ourselves, especially for men of color and people of color, we have to really start talking about our feelings and what we really want and be really mindful about that. So, yeah, that's my video. Thank you.